Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and welcome back to this week's Spiritual Time with myself, Kerry, the beautiful Doric Sellar of Light.
Hi,
And a special guest, an absolutely gorgeous, amazing special guest, the beautiful Emma Hughes.
Hi, Emma.
It's so exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting to have you here, guys.
Well, Sean.
Yes, we've got Sean today, so you're going to be in for an absolute treat. This is going to be a very interesting recording today. So, guys, keep watching because anything could happen today. Absolutely anything. So we've had 2 weeks off. Much needed 2 weeks off. Wouldn't you agree, Gladys?
Oh, definitely, yeah. The kids come back to school and just having a wee chill out time, you know, Ken, and it has. But I have missed the spiritual time, so it's lovely to come back with a bang with Emma with us. So it should be an interesting one.
Yeah.
You know? But no, we needed to. Everybody needs to have a break and have to recharge their batteries every so often.
Yeah.
And the universe made sure that we did that because you had to go to Glasgow, Ken, and different things. So Ken, we've all been doing different things this last 2 weeks. So Ken, it's been interesting.
It's been an interesting couple of weeks. Put it that way, everyone.
Yeah.
So, Emma.
There we go.
Okay. So everybody will probably be wondering why Emma is on with us today. So Emma, do you want to tell our viewers why we've got you on Spiritual Time today?
So I'll tell you a bit about me first, so that you can understand where I'm coming from, because it might be a bit different to your other lives and whatever. So it was about 3 years ago when I lost my job. I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. What else did I have? Arthritis, you name it, a load of stuff. And it was my lowest point in life. I was taking all these tablets, they didn't help. I was sleeping 18 hours a day. And one morning I just woke up and I thought, I can't do this anymore. I just cannot do this anymore. And I was sat there looking at these tablets, all these horrible thoughts. And I just thought, what am I doing? What is happening? This voice in my head, you know, what are you doing? And it was a split second. It was like a wake-up call. So that was for a reason. You know, that was my lowest point. I needed that. As crazy as it to sound, I needed that. Shortly after, I was just random on Facebook clicking through, and I came across this spiritual group, and I made some good friends there. Even though I had no gifts, no abilities, I had nothing. I didn't know what I didn't know what I could do. But it was apparent, kind of straight away, the first group meditation I ever did. I always struggled to do a meditation on my own, but the first group one I ever did, I saw this angel, and I heard the name Raziel, however you want to call it. And I was like, right, I've completely just lost the plot now. I didn't even know there was an angel called Raziel. I knew nothing. I basically knew nothing. I was like, right, yeah. And there were a few group meditations. Everybody was saying fairies and angels and unicorns, you know, all these weird and wonderful things. And I would be seeing something completely different. And I was like, right, why am I seeing the person in this group as a Roman, or as a god, or as a person that was a Buddhist. And it came to light pretty quick that I could see past lives. It was just switched on. I can't explain it. I don't know how it to work. It's just something that happened. So it have kind of progressed from there. I've been able to see past lives, especially since at the beginning of my awakening. But it's only been the last probably year and a half. I'm not very good with time. I have an issue with time, dates, days. But I think it's probably about a year and a half. And I don't believe in coincidence anymore. No such thing as coincidence.
No, there isn't.
No, definitely not. And I came across this beautiful soul that was on somebody else's life, and it was Joanne Dunn.
Yay! Good old Joanne!
Well, Joanne. And for about a week, I had this nagging voice telling me, right, Joanne, I've got to be the one to teach you right. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know what she did. And it was constant in my ear. So I eventually gave up and reached out to her. I can remember the message I sent to her. Can you teach me writing? It had to be Joanne. And now I understand why. And since then, you can say the rest is history. From the beginning of starting Reiki, because everybody told me I was healer, and I was like, no, just didn't feel it. And most people tell everybody that they're a healer. Do you know what I mean? Because we are all healers. But for me, that was another massive awakening. I realized, wow, I can really do this with these hands. I can be a healer. I am a healer. And the things I have learned and the way in things, the progression is just so quick.
Yeah.
It's fun, and having somebody to talk to and explain things, because you think I'm crazy, and it's like, well, I'm seeing these things, but why is everybody else seeing something completely different? And I didn't understand at the time, but now I understand that it's all right to see things you can't explain, things you don't know.
It's all part of you, Emma.
Sorry?
It's all part of you, Emma.
It is. It's a massive learning curve. Every day I'm learning something. Things I believed in before, I no longer believe in, because I see things differently and I feel truth. I've discovered that not everything is on the internet, and the majority of it can be made up, shall we say?
Oh yes.
Yep.
And that kind of hurt, because I had believed in so many things when I was growing up. I was brought up as a Christian, going to Sunday school, and it kind of hurt me when I had the realization that not everything I see, not everything I read, not everything on the television, I call it, I don't watch TV anymore, it's not always true. Not always. And another thing that came in really quickly for me was, I can't say it any other way, because it is my bullshit-ometer. That's what I call it.
I love it.
My bullshit-ometer. I just know when I see a name or a face, I can read that person, I can feel that person, I can instantly see past lives. So that is like my alarm system, if that makes sense. If I come across certain energies, it's like, right, I'm not going to be compatible with that energy, kind of thing. And again, that's something that have intensified as my journey has progressed. It's unbelievable to think the person I was 3 years ago. I mean, I'm the most unlikely person on the planet to be spiritual, because I've got a humor. I don't take anything seriously anymore. I don't worry about anything. I just kind of flow.
That's right.
And it's been like a constant learning curve. And more recently, with the past life, I've discovered that it was actually there from the beginning in order for me to do soul retrievals.
Wow.
Which I knew nothing about. I knew nothing about. You know, I'd get these messages right by a soul retrieval book, and it would pop up on Amazon just out of the blue, because that's how it works. And I was like, right, okay. You know, I always go with what I feel is a message or a sign. And that quickly developed the soul retrieval thing. And I didn't even think that was a thing. 3 years ago, I would have laughed and I would have said, "You're crazy." And if somebody had told me the things that they were seeing, like, you know, angels, galactics, trees that talk, you know, everything and anything, I just would have laughed. And it's unbelievable to think, you know, I really do see and feel all these things, and I'm not crazy, because I know other people see it and feel it now too. I understand that. It's just a lot of people tend to keep it within. You know, maybe they have got some to talk to. They don't understand why they are seeing differently, but it's completely normal, completely natural.
It is. It really is. And Emma, you've just let our listeners, our viewers and everything know that it can happen in an instant. You didn't have to be born with all this, like I was. But it can just happen, and at any time. And age isn't an issue with it neither. It can happen at any time in your life, and that's why I love your story. You know.
I wasn't fortunate enough to be born with it. When I was growing up, I always felt I didn't belong. I always felt sadness about the way people treat people. I always felt angry about wars. I couldn't understand why people would want to kill people. And looking back now, I totally understand why I felt those things. You know, even though I can't remember, because when we you, we are wiped clean when we reincarnate you. We're not meant to remember any past lives, because we are living an earth experience every time we come here to learn.
Yeah.
But looking back at you know, particular things, I think I've always been a manifester, and I didn't even know what that was. I always got the job I wanted. You know, everything I wanted that I put my heart and soul into, I always got. And I was like, oh. But it is, and at the minute, it's something new every week. Didn't know anything about energy. I didn't know anything about healing, but that came online pretty quick. I can feel energy. I can look at locations, pictures, places. I can tune in. I can see beneath the ground. I always see tunnels and cities, and you know, I see those things. I can't make it up, because there's certain names, places I get, and I've got to go on Google. I always check. I still always check for a confirmation, you know. And places come up, and I'm like, well, I can't imagine that, because I wouldn't know it. I wouldn't know certain things. It's just what I get given. And
but then, Emma, you're trusting everything that you get.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing. As long as you're trusting everything you get, and that, it's amazing how quickly they'll give you more information.
It is. It's only probably the last 2 weeks. I can honestly say, and on art, I totally trust everything I feel, because Gladys knows. A week before I had a reading with Gladys, and it was like, whoa. I I ordered the reading a week before, I think it was. It was a few days before. I was told you need to have a reading of Gladys because there was a lot of things going on with me. I was trying to figure out because they never tell me things. They never give me direct messages. It's up to me to find out and work it out for myself because giving me messages would be too easy. For me, you've got to want it. You've really got to want it to work for it. So I had booked the reading, and it was so weird, and I'm still gobsmacked. It's not very often I am lost for words. Between waiting for the reading, a lot of things happened. I mean, a lot of things. I was it with these things coming in, and I was like, right, what do I do with this information? You know, it's overwhelming sometimes because you've got so many things going on, and it's how you translate those messages that you get in.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't know what to say, Gladys. I still don't know what to say. If I, honest to God, if I didn't know any better, I'd have said she was pulling those cards, knowing the questions I needed answered. It was like she was pulling the cards for me to see. And I'm not making this up. The 3 cards she pulled were the 3 cards that were a confirmation for me for the answers that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
I was just blown away. I was like, whoa, so that's why I needed to see Gladys. Because I didn't even know what you did or what you do.
Yep.
But you know, when I'm told to do something, I act on it now. I do it. I trust my guides a million %.
And Ken, even during all my development classes and everybody I talk to, that's the one word that I think I'll have to have printed on my forehead, trust.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the biggest thing you can do. Doesn't matter what part of work you're doing with your past life regression and your soul connections and everything, you've got to trust what you get. And the thing is, when you pass on that message, you've done it. Doesn't matter what other person, if you've passed it on, you've passed it on to them. What they do with the information, that's up to them because they got free choice.
Yeah. So see, for the viewers out there, because trust is quite a hard thing for a lot of people because we've been conditioned to be a certain way throughout our whole lives. I think trust is a hard one for myself at times. Like sometimes I get things and I'm like, oh no, you're honestly batshit. Like seriously. And then you're like, and then the penny drops and you're like, I wish I trusted myself. So how would you suggest somebody out there that's beginning to awake, beginning to notice that they have abilities and capabilities, because there's a lot of people at the moment coming online with their spirituality. So how would you say if somebody's out there beginning to awake and they're beginning to know and see things and think they're absolutely losing the plot, what advice, both of you, would you give them to say, like, look, calm yourself down a little bit, trust what you're getting? How would they tap into that?
Go on, Emma.
Well, I would say, you know, where do these voices or images, where do they come from? Because you know, when it's your own voice or your own memories, images, however you connect, you know, with source, you know the difference. So when you start getting these messages or seeing these things that you know are not yours, they're coming from somewhere.
Okay.
You've got to realize that they're coming from an external, a bigger source.
That's right.
The trust is really hard. It's really hard. And I used to be that person. I'd have to Google everything on every past life I did just to find something to validate that, you know, I was right, that I wasn't making this up. And there would always be something there. It might be something small and it might take me like half an hour to troll through the internet just to find something. And I'd be like, whoa, yeah, I'm happy with that. You know, it was right what I was getting. But it's the way we've been conditioned, and it's hard to explain because you can't prove these things. You know, even science science can prove energy, and that's all it is really, is an energy coming into you. It's just dropping that pretense that you might be wrong, because you're not wrong. Nobody is ever wrong. We all see different things.
Right.
See different things on different levels. Some people might just see like past people from this lifetime. Some might see past. Some might just see galactic things. You know, there's just so much out there. And I would say, don't ever be afraid, don't ever doubt it, and just flow. You know, if you start getting something, just go with it.
And that is all to do with trust. If you kind of go with it, you're trusting what you're getting. You're trusting what your gut instinct is telling you. And I must admit, I'm no one for, well, I don't like the technology anyway, and I'm no one, if I get something, I just go with it. It's not very often you'll see me check something up.
Yeah.
But then that's me. I've done this such a long time, and I trust fully in Wes and the rest of my guides. You know, if they're saying something to me, I might think, okay, that's just, no, come on, fat kind of thing, you know? But I kind of done right. Even like, say, whatever they've told me to do, and I'll think, no, this is really now. Years are all, I'll even tell them, you are all losing the plot. You know, I'll say things like that, but then I'll sit down and I'll really think about what they've told me. And look at what they've said, and I'll think, okay, right, I'll just go with it. And what's going to happen? You know? It's either going to go one way or another. And that's the way I see it.
Yes.
So, and I would say 99% of the time, it's never wrong.
Yeah, it's never wrong.
It's a very high percentage.
Yeah.
You know? And it's when you're also talking to people, you've got to, when you're giving them information, it's the way you're giving that information so that they can understand it. You know? But again, it's their free choice to take the information you give.
Yeah, that's true, because I'm doing a course at the moment, and the best way he described, like, within the course, it wasn't to me direct, he said, if it doesn't make sense, go with it. Because if it does make sense, that's your ego creeping in.
Ah, that's brilliant. I love that. That makes total sense.
It does, doesn't it?
It does make total sense. And I went, bing! I was like, now I get it. Because like, to me, that sort of language is crystal clear. Sometimes I need it straight to the point. And then I'll go, oh, okay. But that was a major, okay, that does make sense. So if it doesn't make sense, go with it. And if it does make sense, that's your ego. So guys, take time. But yeah, it was amazing. Really, really good. Really good.
I'd have never even thought of that, but that is absolutely true.
It does.
True.
Yeah. So would you guys definitely agree that would be the simplest term to put it?
Yes, it would be. Because, you know, everybody wants to kind of follow on a path. But then when you take off on something that you're not sure of, and then it opens up a mere doors, you're gobsmacked.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gobsmacked. When that door opens and you walk through and you think, now I understand.
I know. And it was like, what was it, Emma, you said the other night? You said, like, cards. Use cards. Now, we've spoke about Yasmin's cards, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about it, because I had cards, and I've always like played with cards and everything, but I've like not really seriously read them. Does that make sense? But then I got this urge in January this year, and I pulled them out, and I was like, okay, there was like word on the news about this COVID situation, and I just got this huge urge to pull them out, and I pulled them out, and I started telling someone what I was seeing, certain things that I was seeing, and I said, COVID, it's going to be like a huge impact, and you know, I can see like money's going to have no value. I said, when the hierarchy dies, shit'll hit the fan. And then I said, like, it'll be a completely, like, life as we know it will completely change.
Yeah.
And this past couple of weeks, I just went, oh my God. Does that make sense? I was like, oh my, because it didn't make sense to me. It did not make sense. And I thought, I'm talking a whole load of crap. Like, I am honestly talking a whole load of crap. But now, I wish I'd recorded it, because if I'd recorded it, I would have deleted it. And I wish to the love of God that I recorded it. But it's just like, it's trusting yourself. And that was a huge lesson for me to learn, that Kerry should have trusted yourself then. Why is it taking you this long to get to that point where you do need to trust yourself? Because everything's coming true from those cards. And it's like, this is blowing my mind. And like, guys out there, they're playing with cards and they're like, oh, it's a load of rubbish and this doesn't make sense and blah, blah, blah. Guys, go with it. Absolutely go with it. It's really important. If it doesn't make sense, that's your answers. That is your answers. It's not you making things up.
But it's just like last year when I kept saying, because Emma's one thing that I do every year, when a new year comes in, I divide the year up. Mm-hmm. So we've got the first half, which is the first 6 months, then the second half. They'll come into the second half of last year. I kept telling her, oh, 2020, big things are happening. Big things are happening. It's got to be a big year for everybody. And I kept saying it's got to be great. It's got to be this. And when it happened, when this all happened, I'm saying to my guides, well, I got that bloody wrong, did I know? And they goes, no, you didn't. Because the excitement that I had inside me was carrying me on. They says, technically, you've got this right.
Yeah.
And it is, and think about it. Yes, there's been lots of things happening that has made us all sad. Kind of like losing people. You know, that's the downside of all this. It's people's hand to pass on because of this, right? But on the other, flip it over, and you've got all the things that's happening now. The world is changing. The world's coming out better. More people is seeing and waking up, and that's the excitement I was feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this time last year, I didn't care. I just thought, oh, it's going to be so exciting.
Yes, it's exciting, but it's happened for a reason. Like, does that mean everything happens for a reason? And like this period in lockdown and everything's given a lot of people to think about things, and they are all awakening for a reason. There's an absolute reason, and this is why we do spiritual times,
right,
Emma, to try and help people. Like, no, you're not crazy. You're not alone. Like, you're absolutely normal. If you know what I mean. And we're trying to get different people on spiritual time that have different things that they can do. So somebody out there will be watching this and go, oh, thank God I am crazy. If you know what I mean. So absolutely, thank you so much for coming on and talking about everything that, like, you've mentioned so far. We're not finished yet. Nowhere we're finished yet. We've got a long way to go yet.
You're making off that easy, Emma. I'm going to tell you that next. But Emma, you've just had literally 3 years.
Yeah.
Literally waking up to come to this point. Now, if you think about it, now you do the past thing, but if you think about it, all your life's leaded up to this point. Everything that you've went through has leaded you to this point.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
You know?
I can see that now, and I can see why the lockdown was so important to me, even though it hasn't affected me in any way. You know, I don't fear that.
No.
I was kind of pushed to do a lot of learning. I've done a lot of online courses. I didn't know why I was doing them, but they've come to light. I've been doing a lot of work on quantum things, and I'm starting to see the timelines. So I kind of see now, you know, that they nudge me to do certain things. And because I trust them now, I know that there's always a reason. They never tell me why. I've got to find out for myself.
Yeah.
With me, it's always lessons. You know, I do certain things, and it's like then I get rewarded with something else that I can use to help everybody else, to help others. So I've done a lot of studying since lockdown, a lot of reading, and there's been so much coming into me since lockdown. It's like non-stop. It's every week there's something different. There's different energies coming in. there's different information coming in. I call them downloads,
Mm-hmm.
because I'll just sit there and I'll see these things and I'll get this information and I'm like, oh, right. And I just know I have to act on that information. And usually the case is when I do it, it feels like I've done it a million times before.
Yeah.
When you get to that place, it's natural. You just flow.
Yeah.
It is. It's a totally unbelievable journey. And even though the lessons, I guess, sometimes they're hard because it's like I've got to prove myself that I'm capable of not feeling anger anymore. I don't feel hate anymore. You know, I could never wish harm on anybody.
Mm-mm.
And I've kind of had to prove that before they give me these gifts.
Yeah.
But Emma, every day we're all tested on something.
Yeah. Constantly.
Oh, I'm constantly being tested. You know, I laugh because I often say, well, if I passed, but I realise, well, that was a test. Okay, if I passed. And I wait to see what I'm going to get out of it, like, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's how you take what you're doing now and give it to the masses, if you want to say, you know, because you've got to take this further, and this is why you're on spiritual time to tell everybody what you can do, so that you can kind of open that door and get people to come to you to learn things off of you as well, you know, and the adventure that you're going on is amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I learn every day. It's just constant learning with me. I learn something every single day without a doubt. Whether it's off somebody I know, it's something off Facebook, it's something I read, and it'll just click and I'll get the goosebumps. And when I get the goosebumps, I know that it's truth. Yeah, it's weird. My body is like an antenna. When I read something that's different to the way I currently believe something, I'll get goosebumps and I'm like, oh, my original belief is wrong. Because we've all been conditioned to believe our life in, you know, all the textbooks, all the history, everything else. So I am like an antenna now. I'll get goosebumps. If it's something I need to take notice of, if it's a bad energy, it's always with the goosebumps. So I always take notice and constantly learn it. And my belief system is constantly being upgraded. There's a lot of stuff in you that I've learned when I was little that is still, I know it's not true. I know it's not true. I see things differently now. I feel things differently. And it never fails to amaze me. It really don't. It's constant. It's non-stop. And I wouldn't change it for the world. Absolutely would not change it for the world. It's amazing.
No, because that's just what this is your path now. So you want to be able to change it. You know? You're on it now, and there's no way I can see you ever coming off this path.
No.
You know?
No,
you've literally went through the crap that you had to learn to get yourself here. You know?
Yeah.
And then we all have to go through crap in the life to get to the point so that we can pass on the goodness, that we can pass on what's needed. Like, and as you meet somebody, as you say, you instantly see their past, right?
Yes.
So then you can say to them, well, you did this in your past, so what are you going to do in the future to change it?
So
that's a good point, actually. That's a really good point. It's changing your past and fixing your past. And I've done a lot of shadow work the last 4 months. For anybody that don't know what the shadow work is, to me, I sometimes use the wrong terminology, but anyway, to me, shadow work is going back to situations that I had forgotten about. People that bullied me, people that did me dirty. I went back to those situations. I gave them love, them healing. I forgave them. And the biggest thing of all is forgiving myself. That's the thing I found the hardest. Because I blamed all these people all my life. Everything that went wrong, there was always somebody to blame. And it's that realization, well, I allowed that. How can I blame anybody? I consciously allowed that at that time. And it is such a massive lift when you come back and feel these situations. You can literally feel like you feel so much lighter, because you can't carry these emotions and bad things and grudges. You can't carry them forward if your vibration is constantly rising.
Mm-hmm.
Been big for me this year. I've worked more on myself, and I mean every day I'm going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a human. I'm going to make mistakes, but I know if I make a mistake today and it affects somebody, or I can see that I've done something wrong and intentionally, then tomorrow I will fix that. I will put it right. Because we're always going to make mistakes. That's part of the...
Yeah. Of course, yeah. We're not perfect. We ain't perfect. No one is. And I think if a lot of people would get that into their heads, you're not perfect. Mistakes happen.
Always.
Hit the fan, deal with it, and change it.
I'm more conscious now of my thoughts, my actions, and if something I've done don't sit right, I know I can go back and fix it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, I know I can relive that experience and I can fix it. It's done. I don't need to carry it. I don't replay situations in my head like I used to years ago. You know, when you argue with somebody and you replay that argument, I should have said this, I should have said that. You know, all that is gone. There is nothing anymore. Everything I was holding on to, every bad experience, all that is dealt with, is gone, because when I leave you, there's going to be a clean karmic slate for me. All my debts will be paid for all my wrongdoings in all my past lives, working on that as well. And it's going to be a clean slate for me when I leave you. That's my intention. And when I do return to the new earth, shall we say, it's not this earth, it'll be a new earth.
Right.
It'll be a fresh start for me, no karma. I don't know whether I'll be able to remember this lifetime. I don't think I will, because I think I'll still be the same. You know, you get wiped before you come here, but yeah, when I return to the new earth, it's going to be totally different. It's exciting.
That is exciting.
It is exciting.
That is exciting. And probably a lot of people out there is like, what do you mean, New Earth? Don't be daft. All I'm going to say to you guys is, when we talk about New Earth and slates being wiped clean, it's really important at the moment that you do your shadow work. You do look at situations that have happened in your life. You do try and accept and let it go, but put love and compassion and no judgment, and try and look at things from another perspective when you look at things that have happened in your past. And like you said, forgive yourself, because at the end of the day, we are all human. We do make mistakes. And sometimes when we make the mistakes, there's reasons for those mistakes. And those reasons can be to learn from those mistakes, so we can get to where we need to be, so we can learn. And when we finally get to that point, we all start connecting the dots. And you start to wake up, and then you start to go, okay, now I get it. So it's really just dealing with all that stuff, so you do have a clean slate. And even if you feel that it doesn't affect you now, and you feel that it doesn't, just go back to that situation and then see how you feel about it. Because quite a lot of people, I think, can be, you know, say, this happened to me in the past, but it's fine, it's forgotten about, it's done. But if we've not actually dealt with it, it can start affecting your body.
Right.
Your body starts to pick up on it. So you may have forgotten it, guys, but your body, it starts to come out in your body. So interesting, something I learned the other day. So if you go to your bed and you're thinking about something as you sleep, and it caused you a lot of pain, etc., in your past, or you know, you're dealing with it, and the next morning you'll wake up and you'll have a sore head, or you'll have a sore knee, or just watch out. Just when you're having these thoughts, just watch what happens the next morning. And then this will resonate with some people, and then you'll go, oh shit. And that'll start making you more aware of your thoughts, if you know what I mean. You'll start waking up to these type of thoughts. Does that make sense? Am I making sense to everybody? Because I can go.
No, yeah, making sense. You've got to watch it.
That is just really strange you mentioned that, because that's what I've been working on lately, is your internal emotions, how it manifests into physical pain in your body. And it is very real. And looking back now, I can see why I had all these health issues, you know, things I was holding on to. I thought I had dealt with. There's no way I had dealt with them. So yeah, that's something I've been working on recently, is the effects of these emotions that you're holding on to, this toxic energy. And this is just my opinion. In my opinion, it doesn't shift until you go into your heart space and find the cause, and then put something in place, you know, to heal the situation, to give yourself. It's so complicated, but yet so easy. I find it hard to explain how it works, but everything we hold inside can manifest as a physical pain in your body.
That's right.
You're spot on when you say if you get up one morning you've got a different ache or pain. Think about, what did you do yesterday? Was there a situation that made you feel uncomfortable? It's knowing where to look to find these triggers that give you a sore back, sore knees, or whatever it is, skin conditions, you know, throat conditions. It's all linked on a subconscious level. It's your body's way of giving you a prod, saying, right, you've got a pain here. There's something that needs healing. There's something that needs sorting. So I'm glad you mentioned that. That's so freaky you said that. Yeah, there's something really big I'm into at the minute.
It is. It is a big thing. And like, I hate people coming for their readings and things that they've held on to. And like say, and the big thing is relationships can cause so much illness in people, and they didn't realise it. And I'll say to people, okay, this relationship's finished, so why don't you go back to the beginning of the relationship? How you met, write everything down, how you met. Again, all the good things. Now, the good things is easy to write about, isn't it? You know, if you think about it. It's when you start coming into the crappy side, you know, all the rubbish, all the hurt, all what happened in that relationship, and the cracks start coming. You've got to write everything down. And I always say to everybody, true to yourself.
Yes.
And I'll leave nothing out.
Absolutely.
And then and when you get to the stage that you reckon, well, that's it over. Well, technically, it's not. Because the way I see it, you've still got that tie to that person's. And that tie's got to be cut. And the best way to cut a tie is using Mother Nature and use fire. So everything that you've written down, burn it. And you know, and I've watched people do this, and I've seen their body change. And the energy lifts, and they lift their shoulders up, and they look straight. They look taller.
Yes.
And they look clearer, because they have took it out of the heart, all what's bugging in the heart, and physically dealt with it. You know, and it's all the same kind of thing. You know, and that's what I call cutting the ties. And I do believe in that. And I've done that everything. I did with changing houses, can obviously relationships, can anything that's changed, jobs, you know, when you finish a job, cut a tie for it and let it go.
Yeah.
You're not taking it with you. Why are you taking it with you? You know? What's it going to be good for you? You know, let it go. So I do believe in let everything go. Yeah, and it's the same kind of thing. And it does help your physical being and all that, you know? It does help.
It does, definitely. That makes total sense. I mean, I've cut, I don't know how many cords the last 6 months. I can physically like see and feel cords. So I I just sweep my aura and pull them out and do what I need to do. But I agree. I burn things as well. When I burn things, that's like a declaration to the universe. Right, I've done this. You know, I like to send it out to the universe as well. So I like burning things.
Aye. Well, this is it. When you burn something, it's automatically got into the universe.
Yes,
Let them deal with it. Let them do what they want with it, you know. And
it's very real. This cutting cords, because you don't realize sometimes you take on other people's energies. If you're in a relationship, you can take on their energies, and you can be tired. You probably wouldn't even know. You know, these things can affect you in so many different ways, and you can carry that for years and years and years and years. So like you said, I think that's brilliant, is writing things down, because we often forget things. We forget so much because we choose to. Sometimes situations are so painful, we blank it out and we forget.
Yeah.
So I think that's a brilliant way of doing it, is actually writing things down, being honest with yourself, come from your heart, and doing it like Gladys suggested. I think that's brilliant. Everybody can do that.
Oh, absolutely. And it's really important, because there's something I've forgotten about, and it flashed back in my memory last week, and physically I've taken it on form this week. And I'm suffering a little bit with it, and it's like, I need to deal with this. If you know what I mean, I've got to deal with it. And it's just like, wow, when you start realizing and you start going, okay, you think you're clean, you think you're past, you think you're perfect, you think, I'm totally ready, and then something goes, oh no, you're not.
No.
So you've got to deal. You do have to deal with it, guys. You do have to deal with it. But we've kind of gone off subject. There's so much. There's so much happening in the world.
Let's get back on to think you're truly here today.
Yes, Emma. So past lives. You know how you said you can immediately tune in and you can see people's past lives. So how does that work? When you say you tune in and you can just see it, how do you just see it? Can I ask, if that makes sense?
I can't even explain it. I don't know how it works. I mean, I'm looking at you now, Kerry. I can see your past life. I've not even asked to see it. I don't need to ask.
Well, I don't have an Emma. She's already done mine.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is interesting. Oh.
See, I never told her that, you see, Emma. I never told her that she'd done mine.
Okay.
You know, when I see these things, it's just like, it's automatic. It's normal for me. This is my new normal. I just look at people, I can see their past lives. If I need to tune into a specific past life, you know, if someone comes to me with health issues or whatever's going on in their life right now, might be connected to something in the past or karma from the past, then I need to tune into that so that I get the right past life, if that doesn't make sense, because we've all got many, like so many lives, and it's literally like a web.
Okay.
You know, which bit do you choose, kind of thing.
Right.
But
okay.
I'm always shown one with people that I come across that will give me some information on the type of person they are, what type of person they are in this life, their energy, their personality traits. I really can't explain it. It's just normal for me to see these things, and you know, to be able to go to these past lives, and I can walk around and I can smell things, I can feel things, I can hear things, I get names, places, locations, the year. It's just something I really can't explain it. It just happens. Like, it's something I've always done.
That's amazing.
The only way I can explain it is it feels like something I've always done. Obviously only until recently, but in the past,
yeah,
something I've always been able to do, and I can see now why you'd have kicked in this lifetime. That's part of my mission as to why I'm here, is to help people, you know, to heal people. I can heal people through their past lives with the soul retrieval. So I finally kind of understand why that gift popped up first.
Yeah.
It's been growing and growing and growing and growing, and I'm here now. I know what I need to do. I know how to use it. After bits of jigsaw puzzles here and there, because they like to taunt me. You know, I've had to find all these different things out for myself. Just by like you said, it's trust, faith, is going with the flow, and whatever I see, I'm never shocked anymore.
Okay.
I see weird and wonderful things. I can understand thousands of different languages, literally thousands, and it sounds crazy. I don't know what these people are saying, but I understand them. I can talk it back.
Nuts.
It is, isn't it? Come on
It's-
then, Emma. Emma, I'm going to put you on the spot. Go tell Kerry something.
I know Kerry. I see Kerry. Kerry knows I know her. The only thing I see with Kerry is that I shall say she's a universal soul. She's a very, very old soul. She is a starseed. I know a lot of people don't know what starseeds are, or perhaps they don't like me labeling people as starseeds, but it's my opinion that starseeds come here. Because I'm looking at it, they know what I'm talking about too. In my opinion, starseeds come here with a specific mission in life. We are no different to anybody else. Don't think this is coming from ego with me. It's not. Yeah. Every light worker, every starseed, every way shower, every person on this planet comes here with a mission. And a starseed mission is one that kind of moves really quickly. You get your gifts coming through quickly, and it's that ability to be able to reach out and help so many people. That's my understanding of starseeds, because I've come across a few and they all seem to be doing the same thing, reaching out to people, they helping, especially people that are awakening right now. They can give advice and they can do some seriously amazing things.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Kerry is universal, a very old soul. She's been around the block more than a few times.
Like, in a good way.
Round the earthly block, and more round the universal block. A lot of incarnations, a lot of lifetimes, a lot of gifts.
That is. Oh, well, I can smile happy today. Thank you very much, Emma. I'm so happy you said that and you didn't turn around and say, "You're bloody Satan, hen." I'm so bloody glad. That was, I can breathe a bit. My bumhole stopped pulsating. That's, when you get really scared and you're like, "Oh God, my bumhole pulsated." It's in a bit.
I'm quite bad to Kerry at times. I do put things on the spot to her, and lately I've been doing it a lot to her.
She's going to give me heart attacks, man. She's awful. She's absolutely awful. But I've always seen myself, I don't know why, but I've always seen myself as a little girl in a red coat holding a bear. And at the gas camps, I've always seen it. And I'm terrified of gas camps, and I love stuffed bears in this lifetime. So I'm like, I think there's a wee connection there, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense? And can I ask, Emma, see some things in our past lives, can we see them on into this life, but we're not aware that we're doing it? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. now that I've got a better understanding of how things work, if we've done something wrong in whatever lifetime, in this incarnation, it usually comes back at us. So say, for example, if I was a wife beater at some point in a past life, well, in this life, I might be the one that's on the receiving end. I might be in a relationship that's really abusive. So you can definitely carry karma from lifetimes to the next. And again, this is part of why we're here, to realize these things.
Right.
And you be in situations in your life where you're supposed to stand back and say, why is this happening? Why am I allowing it? And that's when you cut your karmic cords. That's when that karmic debt is paid. When you're at that point, you can see a cycle, because they usually come in cycles. You know, bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship. If you look at the cycles, they'll tell you everything you need to know and what you need to fix. So I always believe it's karma carried from a past life. That's just my opinion. Because certain things don't happen by chance.
No.
And like, I don't believe in coincidence. So that's definitely, you know, something to think about. If you have repetitive cycles in your life, that can be from a past life. But you can go back and fix a past life. You know, if you're intuitive and you've got a feeling that it is karma from a past life, you could maybe do a meditation and ask to be shown. And again, it's the same thing. If you're shown something, it's about acknowledging what you're seeing. It might be like really uncomfortable. Some of the things I've seen, I would never repeat to anybody. Because, you know, when you've had a lot of past lives, we've all done bad. You know, don't think that you come to this planet and you're more love and light. Nobody is all love and light. No. We're 50. We're dark and light. But when we come here to put the bad, shitty stuff wrong. And they can be fixed through meditation, forgiving yourself in that lifetime because you didn't know any different. You know, don't let it upset you. That was a different lifetime. It's not who you are now. Forgiveness, love, healing, and just let it go. And you actually like feel that. I can't explain it. Like, you'll feel a release, yeah.
Yeah, like shackles have been lifted from you. That's I keep seeing like shackles, and like once I've dealt with things, I see the shackles drop and I hear them drop. So it's like, okay, that's the shackles are being let go, and that's the way I keep. And you see it in your mind's eye. So it's different from everybody else.
Everybody feels their own release from something. Everybody's got their own release from something. You know, just because one person does it this way, that's no your way. Everybody's different, and we've all got to remember we're all individual as well. So we've all got we're in things to go through. But it's so cool, isn't it?
It's amazing.
And I mean that's well, because a lot of things you read online, or a lot of people you watch, or you know, whatever you choose to do, that they say, right, you should see a certain way, you should do this a certain way, you should do that a certain way. And I'm kind of testament that my way is my way. I don't do anything by textbook. You kind of adapt to what you feel is normal and what is right with you. Because I always thought I had to see certain things. I had to meditate in a certain way. I had to send healing in a certain way. And none of that sat with me. But as I've grown and nurtured my gifts, things the way I do them, I can't explain it, but it's what's comfortable with me. I know I'm different. I'm totally fine with that. And everybody should be the same. You know, there's no set way to do things. Whatever you see for a reason. And we're all different. we are meant to see and do things differently, because that's the whole point. If everybody was the same, it would be so boring. We'd learn nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly, Em, and I agree everything you say there, because it's so true that we've all to do it our own way, and that's where the trust comes in. You know,
Yeah.
Somebody can do it one way, and you're thinking, really? Oh well, that's maybe your way, but I don't do that. There's no argument in it. Like,
no.
Because when I do my classes, I'll say to everybody now, just because that one can do something you can't do it doesn't mean to say she's better than you.
Mm-hmm.
No one is better than anyone else. We're all the same. We just have a different path. We're doing our own thing. But come time, well, I'll get to the same place.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the way I see it.
It is. And
I never say there's wrong and right. Never.
No. And it is. It's really funny because the friends that I have around me at the minute, like totally gifted people, that they do things I can't do. And the reason being is because we all need that support and help. I can't do everything. I'll never be able to do everything.
That's right.
But I know people that can help me, and there's that exchange. I can help them with something that maybe they can't do. Mm-hmm. And that's how it's meant to be. We're supposed to be helping each other, because all our gifts are unique. We might all be healers. I believe everybody is a healer. Okay. We can all be healers. There's no doubt about that to me. But we have different ways of healing. We have different modalities. I use colours and flames. You know, that works for me. That is my thing with healing. Whereas somebody else might do the Corona Chi, or, you know, whatever modality of healing is comfortable for them.
Yes.
That is totally right, because nobody is right and nobody is wrong. And I could never judge anybody, because I'm at that point where in my world, anything and everything is possible. I would never dismiss anybody's opinion. I would never sort of brush off and say, oh, you're crazy, or that's not right. Mm-hmm. Because anything is possible in my world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying I'll listen to everybody's opinion. Just because I didn't agree with it, it doesn't mean to say they're right and I'm wrong, or whatever, because we're all entitled to have our own opinion on things. You know, it's what you do with your opinions. It can count in the world on everybody around the butcher. Yeah? No, it's so good. So let's get back, right? Again, we've just kind of jumped off of things again. Right. So your soul connection. Go take us to that.
With the soul work I do, I always have a guide. Another time talking about him is you. I trust him with my life. He's been around since before the beginning of time. Is something that he's always worked with. He has access to the Akashic records, and he holds up a Minty, and absolutely amazing. I always need him with me. When I first started doing it, I got to tell you this, it was funny, because I was going to these places and I was like, oh, can we go down there and have a look? And he would literally stop me. I was like, why can't we go down there and have a look? Because you see all these things, and I'm like, I want to look. So he more than proved that he's there for me, and he got my back. So when I do the soul retrieval, I go to a lifetime. I see the lifetime, I feel the lifetime, which means I feel the hurt, I feel the pain, I feel all the emotions, which is not a problem for me now at the minute. It was kind of draining when I first started doing it, simply because of the emotional impacts I was feeling. Mm-hmm. But now it's like, you know, sleeves up, come on, let's do this. And we go wherever we need to go. I call in their soul pieces that they've lost, or they've even given away, because we can unknowingly give soul pieces away. You know, like if someone close to you dies, and you're holding on to them, you're holding a piece of their soul piece, and they can't really rest, and you've got their energy hanging around you, which is not yours. So I've got more of an understanding how the soul, how the fractals split at certain situations in our lifetime. And they split for a reason, because some things are so traumatic. If they didn't up and leave, we would probably go batshit crazy. You know, I've had to retrieve 3 soul pieces from my lifetime. You know, situations where life was really bad, and my soul piece said, right, we're going to go now and leave her, because when it detracts from the whole, it leaves you a bit calmer. Those emotions and the pain, the majority of it goes with that soul piece. I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's how I see it.
It makes sense. It does make sense.
So I asked for their soul pieces back. The way I see souls is there's usually 1 million souls, and I see them as lights. My guide will pass me the soul, because he knows which one needs to go back to the person. Then I do some weird talking, I do some healing, I heal the situation, I give them a hug. I always ask their guides to come in. I'll ask their guides to come in and watch me perform, you know, the soul retrieval. So their guides are usually there watching me. And it's just that sense of relief, knowing that someone is a bit more whole, because none of us are whole. We've all got soul fractals missing from this lifetime, past lifetimes, and we don't even know it. We don't know it. The other thing I do then is, if they've taken any soul pieces, I will call in the person that they've taken that soul piece from, and I'll do my things and heal the situation and give the soul back. I will see and feel that it's accepted. And that's basically how it works. I mean, I love it. It blows me away every time I do it, and it's so many different.
That's incredible.
It is, isn't it? It's absolutely incredible.
And I mean, I've read about the shamanic way of doing soul retrieval, and that really interests me, but doesn't resonate with me. That's not my way. That's not how I do it. And again, it's what resonates with you. I know I can do it my way because it works for me. And when I get a confirmation of the person that I'm doing it for, there's no better feeling in the world, because I can't prove these things. It's like you, Gladys. You can't prove to anybody what you see, what you feel, but you just know it's real. It's real. This is my life. This is my world. But when I get a confirmation, you know, that, wow, that helped, or a message a week later, something have changed, and I guess, you know, the soul retrieval is very real. It is so real. And I had no idea that it was. I never knew it was a thing.
And I think a lot of people today will be like, wow, I went in on that. Like, honestly, I think you're going to be super busy, Emma.
You know, it's going to be totally different for everybody, because what I've learned is, say if you were a 4-year-old in nursery and the teacher shouted at you, you can't do that, go and sit in the corner. Things like that to certain people would be so traumatic, a part of their soul piece could up and go, because they would be so traumatized by that. It wouldn't bother me, because I'm not that type of person. But to a person that, you know, feels different, more empathetic, or whatever you want to call it, depending on the situation, they can just up and leave. And it's to protect us. It's actually to protect us. These soul pieces leave, because we would. we would be beaten with guilt and fear, and it would probably put us in the loony bin. So that's why they split off and they go. And my understanding is that our soul pieces, they can travel. They can actually travel because they go out into the universe. You know, they've got to go somewhere. They can go out into the universe. They can travel. And I've got other theories on that, like when you dream and when you have certain thoughts. It's kind of complicated, but I know that, you know, the bits that we've got missing, they can travel around. They've got free will, the same as we've got free will, because they are part of us.
Okay.
So it makes total sense. They still get choice. And the other thing is, they get a choice whether they want to return or not. With some people, I cannot do a soul retrieval if I am told not to. And the reason for that is if they're still in a toxic environment where nothing has changed, a situation that they've been in for 30 years, I can't do a soul retrieval for them because that soul piece wouldn't come back, because it left for that reason. It left for that reason, that a relationship was toxic. It's like, whoosh, it'll go. So I can't bring a soul piece back until I know it's ready, because they have free will.
Well, you can't drag something that's got free will.
No,
Just when it
no,
comes,
I absolutely couldn't. No, I can't do that. I wouldn't do that, because if you realize the importance of the soul retrieval work, it can be so easy for somebody that, you know, don't know much about it to take somebody else's soul piece back by mistake. And, you know, a lot of things could go horribly wrong if you don't really know what you're doing. But when I'm told no, I can't do a soul retrieval for a certain person, then it is no. There's no way. I couldn't do that.
see,
and I can't.
That's you trusting your guide, because
Yeah.
you can't do that, and you've got to go with that. That's all to do. But back to this trust thing again.
Yeah.
And it's all to do with that. That's amazing.
And I can't do soul retrievals on behalf of somebody else. Like if somebody came to me and said, oh, you know, can you do a soul retrieval on my husband? I'd be like, no, I cannot do that. Other people can and might do it, and you know, that's totally fine. I'm not judging that. But for me, I can't do a retrieval if somebody asks me, can you do this for my friend? I can't, because I can't take away free will. You know, I've got to speak to the person. It's their choice, it's their free will. And I need to know that it's really what they need doing. Obviously, I'm not going to do it to somebody if I feel they're not in the right headspace at the moment. You know, there's a lot of things to take into consideration. Can't even talk. Into consideration. There is just so much that goes with it. So yeah, it is. It's just that knowing that faith, and I would never ever go against anything. You know, my guide tells me if it's no, it's no. I'll know the reason why. And I know soul retrieval will be not for everybody, and they might think, ooh, that's a bit dark, a bit satanic, but it's nothing like that. We are souls. We are beautiful, pure souls. When we go home after this life, we return to source. You know, we go back to being these beautiful souls that are pure, and I can't explain it any other way. Souls are real. It's who we are. If we didn't have a soul, who would we be? What makes us live? What makes us do the things we do? It's our soul. It's our soul. It's not our physical vessel. It's not our heart. Our heart just keeps us alive. The driving force is the soul. It's definitely your soul. Without your soul, you'd be dead. You'd be zombie. You know, think about it. People say they see souls leave the body. That's your soul. That is your life force. So it's oh
yes, I agree with that. Definitely. Yeah.
Do you know how I keep seeing it? I keep seeing it as a jigsaw puzzle. We're jigsaw puzzles, and when anything bad happens to us, we lose a bit of our jigsaw, and it goes wandering. And then we can have too much pieces with our jigsaw. So, no, that's it. I just keep seeing jigsaw puzzles.
That's a brilliant way of putting it. Yeah. When something bad happens, a little bit of our jigsaw will just fall off the side of the table, you know, and it'll come back at some point when I'm ready. That's the basics of it, you know.
That's exciting. Like I didn't even know that existed. Like I am totally blown away. I knew past lives and that, but soul retrieval is just, it gives me goosebumps. It's amazing.
It really is, isn't it? There is so much out there that we didn't ken.
No.
And that makes it exciting.
Yeah, and we could go on heaps of reasons why we don't know this stuff, but hey, oh, never mind. Let's not get into that story.
So Emma, right. Now that you've told everybody that's watching what you actually do, if somebody's interested to go back into a past life or to find a soul, how do they contact you?
I'm on Facebook, Emma Hughes. There are a few things in the pipeline at the minute, which I'm still working on. But yeah, I'm mainly on Facebook, Emma Hughes. I am accepting friend requests at the minute because I'm putting myself out there finally.
Yay! I think the world absolutely well and truly needs a beautiful soul like you right now. So
it's been a while coming, but now is the time. Yeah, putting myself out there. You know,
all you've needed, Emma, all you've really needed, and I'm going to agree with Joanne here, all you've needed is somebody to shove you onto it.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely glowing. You're shining. You're shining. Shine like a diamond.
I'll predict, Emma, you're going to be super busy. There's going to be a lot of people contacting you.
Yeah.
You know? Well, I'm here to help in any way I can. I understand now that, you know, this is my mission. It's helping people. I have these gifts for a reason. I'm meant to use them. I'm meant to help people. And I don't really care what people think of me anymore. No. I mean, my friends and family, they have no idea I can do these things. People who think they know me, I've changed since last week.
Yeah.
I constantly changing, and when this video goes out and they see it, they're going to be, oh my god, she's really weird now. You know, if
it's all
weird. Yay!
I wouldn't worry about that, Emma. But
no.
I seem to get the weird side. But that to me, that's a compliment.
Yeah, I love my weird. I am totally fine with my weird. And
guys, I think thank you very much, Emma, for talking about the most amazing gifts that you have. Thank you very, very much for coming on Spiritual Time with us this week. Thank you.
It's been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Emma, you know, I've only known you a couple of weeks, and this has been amazing. Absolutely amazing. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for being here with us today. So, from the beautiful and talented Emma, from the gorgeous Kerry, and myself, we're going to say bye-bye for now. So remember, we've all got to subscribe.
Yes.
And
ring the bell. Ring the bell.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Bye everyone.
In the description, guys. So have a look for Emma's Facebook in the description, but we'll see